Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday, and with me, as always, my co-host Nick Mason.
Who can play at that game?
Oh, now you're talking my language. Cheers, brother.
There we go. Oh, that's what this was this whole time. You were trying to You're trying to bridge the gap of friendship.
It definitely wasn't
I liked how I finally cottoned on, and now I'm like, we're bridging the gap of friendship. And
we are
that's
not
beautiful.
bridging the gap.
We clinked our bottles of beer, didn't we?
I don't feel anything.
Doesn't matter because I cannot see inside your soul. But I felt friendship.
Well, that's good.
Beautiful.
I'm really glad.
That's what this podcast's all about.
It's
friendship.
True. Feeling friendship.
And looking at a movie and going, I thought it was pretty good, but I've got some reservations about a small part of it, and I'm mad.
Oh yeah, that's very true, Mason.
And then people going, why did you hate it? I said I didn't hate it. You know?
Absolutely. Oh, the dog just wants to get out.
Oh well, Ollie, we brought you in. We brought you in as part of Friendship Club. And now you want to leave? It's cold out there.
Ollie, this isn't Friendship Club. You need to know that.
Ollie, this is Friendship Club. Ollie the dog, this is Friendship Club for men and dogs.
So we've got some news this week, Mason. Of course, I want to talk about some tour dates because, of course, I'm going to the UK with some Sanspants fellas.
That's right.
You will not be. Mm-hmm. You insisted, in fact.
That's right.
But before I get into that...
I said which Sanspants guys? Those guys? I don't know.
We're also going to talk about the passing of Shelly Duvall. We've got trailers for Agatha All Along, Watchmen Chapter 1 and Gladiator 2.
Mm-hmm. Cruise Control.
Shrek is back.
Cruise Control.
Yep.
Gladiator 2, Cruise Control.
That's right. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the first reactions to Deadpool and Wolverine, or at least the first 35 minutes that they showed or something.
Okay.
Bad news, but all maybe good news for Horizon and American Sagas Chapters 1 and 2.
Okay.
Then we're going to be talking, well, hopefully you can step out for this because I want to talk about the movie Despicable Me 4 with other people, Mason.
Okay, all right.
Other people who will go to Europe with me.
Good, all right. Great.
And then we'll do Twisters.
I bet you're going to spend 2 weeks in Europe just talking about Despicable Me 4 over and over again because that's all you guys have in common.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we do.
Yeah. This is not a recurring segment, by the way. I'm putting my foot down.
What, of you leaving and me doing it?
Yes.
No, I completely agree. It just happened to be 2 weeks in a row. But if you want me to do it again, I will. Which you do?
Do I get to do less on the podcast?
You get to do less.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Though it seems that's not what's been happening. The show has been just extra long.
That's right.
But hey, what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm going to be...
It's going to be Joel and Jackson?
Yes, that's right.
Are they stand-ins for your children?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's right.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yeah, no, I get it, yeah.
Yeah. So, first of all, we've got a Plumbing the Death Star show in London on the 13th September. That's going to be the three of us. The Weekly Planet kind of hybrid show, which is going to be on the 14th, that's already sold out, but there you can live stream it for the first week.
And also, I would probably say, if I had to guess, that the Plumbing the Death Star show and the Weekly Planet show, like especially, they're going to be
similar vibes.
They're going to be
I'd
comparable
imagine.
vibes, I imagine.
Yeah, there's still some tickets left, I think, at time of recording this. To the first one at least. And then we're going to Edinburgh on the 18th.
Oh, you're going to do Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
That's right.
You said you're going to do 30 days.
I did say
of
that.
The Weekly Planet and Plumbing the Death Star. 2 shows back to back,
No,
30
I'm not
days,
gonna do
no
that.
days off.
Then we're going to be in Manchester on September 21st.
You're going to do all Oasis covers.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to be in Birmingham, but there's still some confirmation stuff around the venue. So that one is not live yet, but the other 2 are.
Whoa.
The idea is to do kind of like a Weekly Planet kind of news segment and then do a Plumbing the Death Star thing and then come back afterwards. So like a little break and then a little game show kind of thing with some audience participation. If you want to, you don't have to.
Okay, right.
I will not drag you up on stage.
You must.
Yeah. Look, I'm not comfortable on stage. I'm not going to bring somebody else up either.
You bought a ticket, flip it over. That's your consent to be part of the game show. You do not. Even if you decide not to show up, they're going to come to your house.
Absolutely. But look, I do want to talk about first bit of news, Mason, the passing of Shelly Duvall at age 75. Now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Shelly Duvall died in her sleep due to complications from diabetes at her home in Texas. Dan Gilroy, her partner since 1989, told the outlet, "My dear, sweet, wonderful partner and friend left us. Too much suffering lately. Now she's free. Fly away, beautiful Shelley." Now, those people who you would definitely know her, I would say.
She's in The Shining, obviously.
She's in The Shining, probably most famously.
She's in a bunch of Robert Altman films.
Yeah.
She's in 3 Women. She's
right.
in bloody...
she's in Annie Hall.
She's in Annie Hall, that's right.
She's in Popeye.
She's Olive Oil in Popeye, that's right.
Incredible. I think, I haven't watched it, but I know Red Letter Media recently did a video on Popeye and probably talk about her in that, I'd imagine. But I know there's There were stories about like how she was kind of tormented on the set of The Shining by Kubrick, but that's been recounted. I think, more recently.
She was just acting, folks.
Yeah.
Which, because I think a lot of people...
It's nice to hear.
Yeah, I think a lot... When some people do think of Shelley Duvall and all they think about is like, well, she was tortured by Kubrick and then she never wanted to do another movie ever again. And that's, that's kind of the whole narrative around her is just like a shattered woman. But from what I can tell, there's a Twitter account...
Shelley is this the fan account?
Yeah, Shelley Duvall Update, who was a fan of Shelley Duvall and sort of got to meet her and talked, and sort of they became friends. And there was a lot of updates on her life and how it was going. And generally speaking, she seemed to she was been doing all right. Yeah. She did a lot of producing, I think.
Okay.
Post movie career, she was in McCabe and Mrs. Miller. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay, right.
The Warren Beatty Western anti-Western situation.
Dick Tracy's
own. Dick Tracy's own.
Love that.
Dick Tracy's own salad dressing. Take a bite out of crime with this salad dressing.
Absolutely. Anyways, it's just incredible performances. Like,
she's in Time Bandits as well.
Oh yeah,
was getting a remake.
That's right. I had a trailer this week, didn't it? Which we could maybe talk about. I don't know. Do you want to?
Okay, I didn't. I watched some of it. And I went.
Okay.
I have no fond memories for Time Bandits.
No, me neither. I don't think I've ever seen it actually.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she's in a Steven Soderbergh mover.
Mover.
She works for Steven Soderbergh's moving company. No, she's in The Underneath. Okay, I'm going to add that to my watch list. I'm going to check that out.
Anyways,
in the 90s.
As mentioned, incredible legacy. 75, not, you'd hope to make a little bit longer than that. But a life, well lived, it seems. Yeah. Anyways, Mason, we're jumping on this early now. Trailers Ahoy. Got 3 trailers this week. 4 trailers this week. First, we've got Time Bandits. What did we think?
Didn't watch the whole thing.
I watched, yeah.
2 thumbs up. We didn't watch the whole thing.
We loved it. It's Apple Plus. So if that means anything to you.
I mean, at this point, their track record's all over the place, isn't it?
It's mostly good, except for the movies, I would say.
There's a new series of Severance coming out?
Yes, in January, they announced.
Yeah, okay.
January. Is that a weird way to say it? January. Hi, I'm January Jones, the actor. Yeah. Right. Anyway.
That's how I say it, January Jones.
Agatha All Along.
Yeah, right.
The long-awaited sequel, I guess.
Long-awaited?
Long-awaited. Well,
it's been a long time.
It's been a million years.
Yeah.
To WandaVision, which follows Agatha Harkness, as played by Catherine Hahn. And what's she up to?
Well, I mean, true to form, based around the series WandaVision, at the start of this trailer, she's stuck in a police procedural, it seems, which I think is fictional. That's where she's ended up after the, the reality-altering events of WandaVision. That's fun. That's a bit of fun.
Absolutely.
It looked like a, again, speaking of, Apple TV, it looked like a Mayor of Easttown or kind of, a
True Detective or whatever.
True Detective or, something like that,
Yeah. We also see Aubrey Plaza is in it, among others.
Yes.
A coven of witches running amok. It looks like there's some spooky elements to it, of course.
Yes.
I think that it looks like there might be some flashback stuff. Because she's probably... Was she really old? I can't remember. WandaVision was...
She was very old.
2020 maybe.
Oh, that's very old.
That is very old. But, I mean, it could be... it also seems... It could be fun. There's also, you see, like...
Could be fun.
4
thumbs up. We loved it.
Could be fun. There's she's cycling through the characters that she appeared as in WandaVision. Maybe some kind of penance or stuck in a spell or some variation on that. But of course, with the death or at least the stopping of Scarlet Witch, whatever's kind of containing her appears to be, loosening up.
That's right.
Like how Beetlejuice gets out or whatever. So I saw the Beetlejuice trailer when I watched Twisters.
Oh, yes.
I went, this Beetlejuice makes me want to watch the first Beetlejuice, which I haven't seen.
Okay, yeah,
sort of makes me want to do that.
So it's worked on you. The marketing's worked.
Yeah, to watch the first one, I guess.
Great. Well, then you're going to watch that and you're going to be like, I would love to watch an inferior sequel.
A legacy sequel, Mason.
That looks worse.
Maybe. We've also got a trailer for Watchmen Chapter 1. And I believe the tagline of this is Mason owes James an apology, which is an interesting tagline for this this story, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, coincidentally, that's got both of our names in it.
Yes, it does.
And why would that be? Why would Mason owe James an apology?
Well, if I recall correctly, Mason,
yes,
if you don't mind me saying so,
go on.
That you said we're not going to see Dr. Manhattan's dong.
Oh, and we do see it. Do we see it? Okay.
In this trailer.
Okay. And I have to apologize for that, do I?
That's right.
I don't just have to say, oh, that's interesting.
No. You have to say, James, you were right. They're not going to take the dong out.
Well.
Yeah. Don't you think that's cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that they've I mean, they've alienated a lot of their potential viewing base by making that the tagline. But I
Yes,
think, they've laser focused on us because we are influencers and we can make people watch it. We'll say, ignore the terrible tagline. You should watch this because there's dick in it.
Now, I just wanted to look for the quote, but the writer on this, or one of the writers, is J. Michael Straczynski.
He created Babylon 5.
He did, and he also did some Watchmen comics, and before Watchmen stuff,
he did. That's
I
true.
believe.
Yeah.
He's this is what he said about it. I can now talk about it as the news is breaking. I adapted Watchmen for Warner Animation. By adapted, I mean I strictly configuring the structure to work in a movie. I saw no need to write more material or change what works in the book. It's pure more. So this seems as direct a translation as you can do, I guess.
Yeah. And it goes on to say Alan Moore would hate it still.
Yeah, he still hates it.
Still going to hate it.
How did you feel about this trailer? Did you like how it was thrud?
I was just going to say I quite enjoyed the 3D element, that it's that pseudo 3D look, which doesn't always grab me, I think. Sometimes I'm like, this looks atrocious. I don't know. I think it works given when you think of the Dave Gibbons art from back in the day. I don't know. Maybe in this instance, to me at least, maybe it lends itself to that particular art style. I'm not sure, but when you see like Dan Dreiberg and Sally and those characters, I'm like, this works quite well with this
could come
animation style.
It could be just like Watchmen.
Could be just like Watchmen.
Yeah. So that's good, I guess. Then, of course, we got a trailer for Gladiator 2.
That's right.
Which people are mixed on.
People are dead. It's one of those.
Because of the music choice.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are down on it for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of dislikes flying because there's hip hop in it. It's
Kanye West and Jay-Z.
No Church in the Wild. Yeah.
Which that is a strange choice. Like, and a lot of people said, why not use like Hans Zimmer's score? Yeah. Like, it's not like that first Gladiator movie. People know it.
Also,
it's a famous movie score.
It's a famous movie, but also, speaking of another topic in this, they're like, well, Denzel Washington's just using his own accent.
I don't care.
Or he could use a British accent, could he? Like Romans famously had British accents.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
It's the same thing, and it's the same thing, and then it's like, why can't they use a traditional Hans Zimmer arrangement? You mean using like an orchestra like the Romans didn't have?
That's what they did.
They, a style of music that didn't exist for 1,000 years.
They had a plink plonk kind of instrument, probably some kind of plink plonk instrument and a horn and a drum.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I see what you're saying.
I thought it was fun.
I didn't like the music choice. I thought it was like
Mr. Downvotes.
No, I don't think it's going to affect the movie like at all. It seems to be like the Paul Mescal's character in this is the little boy from the first one, and he's doing the legacy of Maximus, and all of that stuff. So like the story element wise, and the returning to this universe, who you'd think initially maybe they shouldn't have done this. And maybe they shouldn't because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, right.
But no, I did like the trailer. I just thought it was like, okay, all right, whatever, I guess. But yeah, you're right. I guess you're right in the sense that like, who cares?
I also, I mean, on a slightly more nuanced level, maybe people are like, I mean, some people are like, well, rap music, blah blah blah. But I think some people might also be like, why'd you use music from a famously cancelled guy, because of all the Nazi stuff. Because of all the Nazi stuff he said, yeah.
That's a good point too.
And I'm like, well, it is a banger still. So, during the Mr. and Mrs. Smith press run, Donald Glover was Donald Glover and Maya Erskine were on one of these videos where they're like, you got to talk about the goats of various industries, like who's the goat, actor, or who's the best in their field at whatever it was. And Donald Glover was asked who's the goat rapper, and he said Kanye. And like that was in the aftermath of him saying all a bunch of stuff and all his bizarre behavior. But Donald Glover's not wrong in that he was a pioneering artist, and changed the game for a lot of people. It's just a shame he then did all the Nazi stuff.
That he sucks.
That he sucks.
And he's obviously going through
it's a lot.
An extreme mental episode.
And a lot of traumatic stuff
and people
happening.
Taking advantage
and his
of
mum
him
died, and so, and then it's surrounded by yes men and blah, blah, blah. Like it's a sort of a equal parts tragic and upsetting.
And why are you doing this?
Why are you doing this? And et cetera. Yeah, but I mean, so maybe that's the reason. But it's a good song.
And
I don't think the entire movie's going to be soundtracked by hip hop. Or maybe
I would say
it is.
almost certainly not. But if it is, I'm sure it could work. I mean, they did. What was the song they did for Ridley Scott's Gladiator? They did.
I get knocked down and I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. I'm a gladiator.
What's that song of the witches and black masses? What the hell's that song called?
Oh, War Pigs.
Did they do War Pigs?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe though.
I might be wrong.
Maybe though.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, great.
So there you go.
Um,
That was a fun movie, wasn't it? Anyway, Gladiator 2. Are you jazzed? Are you hip-hop for
Les
it?
Cinephiles on Twitter says the Gladiator 2 soundtrack includes a variety of like hip-hop artists, but I don't know if Les Cinephiles is a reputable
It
source
also might
or
not
real.
mean they're...
It says
they're
Travis Scott, Metro Boomin, Ice Spice, Lil
Yeah.
Yachty, Playboy Cardi, and Post Malone, which could be real or could not be real.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
also
know.
like that might not be in the movie.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like you
exactly.
said, like there were no orchestral scores then anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sharks in the Arena.
Oh, see, that's exactly it. Like, what are you talking about being like, oh, this looks bad because it's got cargo. What's the story? They're fighting sharks in the arena.
I think they wanted to do that in the first one,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
budgetary
Which apparently
problems.
was a real thing.
Yeah, it was a real
So,
thing,
yeah.
absolutely. So that's fun, isn't it?
But
Yeah.
anyway, great cast. Paul Mescal. Joseph Quinn is kind of
Yeah.
that kind of like
Ooh.
the ooh guy.
Ooh.
That guy who's all ooh.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the eyes of somebody
Ooh.
who's a bit ooh, and he's
Yeah.
he's had too much sugar.
Yeah,
You know, back in
absolutely,
the
that's
day
too
when
much
sugar was
yeah.
a real
yeah, definitely.
a real rare spice.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's all ooh.
Connie Nielsen is back. Is that her name?
Great
Let's
question,
call her
James.
Connie Nielsen.
Okay, but Denzel's looking great.
Yeah,
I'm
Connie
just-
Nielsen is back. Pedro Pascal's in this.
Yep.
I don't remember seeing him in the trailer, but Jimon Honsu is in this, and he's in the first one also.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And also, yeah, the first Gladiator movie isn't historically accurate, like at
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Like this kind of took some names of some people, but it's not.
Okay,
it's
right.
It's not true.
Yes.
It's not true, Mason.
Wow.
Anyway, we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
As I am for this. Shrek is back. Shrek 5, July 1st, 2026. Great.
How did we leave Shrek in Shrek 4? He
died.
had kids.
He
hadn't
died.
No, he's alive.
No, he died. He said, I died.
Wow.
I'm
And I'm
Shrek.
taking my kids with me.
To hell.
We're all getting drowned in the lake. We're getting drowned in this Colosseum. Here we
That's
go.
right.
No, but they had kids, right?
Yeah, he died. The kids in the end of... We watched him. We didn't forget about garbage.
So is he going to have fully grown kids in this?
I don't know.
Who are going to be the voices of the kids? Jack Black? Chris
Black.
Pratt?
Chris Pratt, Jack Black.
Others?
Yeah, the other...
Keegan Michael
Yeah,
Key?
there we go, yeah. I was
just
gonna
all
say Kyle Gass from Tenacious D.
all the famous people are doing voice acting now. They'll be the kids.
Exactly. The core trio is returning, like Cameron Diaz, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Shrek again.
That's Shrek
Why
again.
not? I think the date is July 1st, 2026.
Okay.
And
Can we put Shrek ears on that somehow?
They did it.
Nice.
It's on Twitter. You can
Nice.
look at it.
Nice.
Yeah, you don't have to look at it though.
Okay.
But look, don't worry about that big movie.
Okay. Well, okay. But
you
I was
wanna
going to
worry
say,
about it?
generally speaking, they're a cut above. I can't remember what Shrek
Some of them
falls.
are.
Yeah.
3's not.
Okay, well, that's a shame.
The Puss in Boots movies are good, in particular,
Yeah.
the second one. Mason,
Go on.
comicbookmovie.com.
Oh, I remember those guys. Our old stomping ground.
That's right.
Our old best pals.
Agreed. So they are saying, well, everybody's saying this, but there were 35 minutes of Deadpool and Wolverine show, and this is some of the quotes that were compiled.
Why only 35 minutes? I've been ripped off.
Yeah.
I want to see the whole movie for free in advance. I'm mad about this.
Do you want to see it early? Because I got preview stuff on the Tuesday night.
Yeah, why not?
But you can also see it on Wednesday night in a regular
Oh,
cinema.
that'd be about the same, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be
See
about
how
the
we go.
same.
But
Okay.
then we get to stand near the Deadpool standee.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, we're friends with Deadpool.
Look
but
at
not
us.
Wolverine. Wolverine's mad. He doesn't want to be friends with us.
Look at us.
But he has to. We're hugging with Wolverine.
Look at us.
We're giving the peace sign.
Look at us.
Look at us, we'd say.
Yeah.
On Instagram. 10,000 likes.
So they're saying best since Endgame. Everything I hoped for. You really aren't ready. I guess you could call it Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
Pretty
Is it
good.
because Wolverine is referred to as Wolverine the whole movie?
Might happen.
Okay.
You okay with that?
Opening sequence, Deadpool's like, I'm going to call you Wolverine. But I don't like that. Well, that's why I'm doing it.
Maybe he's from the dimension.
You don't like this nickname, that's why it's sticking around.
But maybe he's from the dimension where he's called Wolverine.
Wolverine, yeah,
So, you know,
okay.
and it's fine. And he's like, thank you for calling me by my real name, Wolverine. Yeah.
Not my real name, which is Laulgan.
How long would you think this movie is? This isn't a test. I'm just curious.
Oh, if they've given away 35 minutes for free.
Yeah.
I reckon...
Like with the cameos that it's supposed to have and whatever. What would you say?
Shorter than expected, I reckon.
Oh, okay.
I reckon it's 127 minutes.
So what's that, an hour and 7?
Yep. No, it's
2 hours and
2 hours and 7.
It's exactly 2 hours and 7 minutes. Did you know that?
I didn't know
That's
that.
incredible.
But I'm so in tune
Yeah.
with comic book movies, I can do that.
Yeah, it's shorter than I think people, me in particular, not you apparently.
No, I know.
You knew.
Yeah.
Expected.
Yeah.
It's the social media reactions to this drop on July 22nd.
God,
and
I've
then
got a beautiful mind, don't I?
You really do. And the review's embargoed until July 23rd.
How do you like them apples?
Like
and me figuring it out.
Yeah, I like-
Guess someone owes me an apology.
I do apologize. I mean, that wasn't a test. Sure, when you got it wrong, inevitably, which you should have, I would have jumped all over that.
That's right. Yeah.
But you didn't
I
somehow.
Didn't, yeah. I didn't go. I bet it's 49 hours. What do you mean I'm wrong? What do you mean? What do you mean dyscalculia? What do you mean?
Still jazzed for this?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
But then we've got, of course, delays but not dismays in relation to Horizon and American Saga Chapter 2.
Do you think we're going to see new Wolverine in Deadpool Wolverine?
Like a new Wolverine?
A new cast Wolverine, whoever it is.
It's possible.
Unless Hugh Jackman wants to just be Wolverine
well,
again.
I think I saw...
That's the rumours that I'm now seeing floating around.
I think the rumours at the moment is also that he's going to be doing some Avengers Secret Wars stuff.
Oh, yeah, right.
I think they probably will recast, but yeah, maybe not just yet.
Interesting.
Maybe a hint. Hang on, the dog's trying to get out.
My goodness, it's cold out there, Ollie. What are you thinking?
So, Horizon and American Saga Chapter 2 will no longer be releasing in theaters this August. The first one, of course, went to cinemas in this month or last month?
In this month, that's
remember.
right. And now I believe they're saying we need people to... They're not saying we're cancelling the cinema release. They're saying we want to give people more time to experience
so we can cancel
Horizon
this,
and American Saga.
Yeah.
So they can watch 2 and then we can cancel 3 and 4.
As we talked about last week, it's directed and stars Kevin Costner. Oh, yeah, it was released on June 28th and has so far made around $25 million. I believe the two movies together cost $100 million, which I guess isn't ridiculous.
No.
Not these days. Like you mentioned, the idea is to allow it to build an audience on streaming, which is possible. I mean, June did that, didn't it?
Yeah, and also this is what we've been talking about. It seems to me to be a wise decision to keep some leeway there. If you want to keep a movie in cinemas longer, or you want to delay the streaming release, or you want to move it, like we know Eric Bana moved the release of Dry 2 extra dry.
So dry.
Remember he moved that up because he's like
so dry.
Yeah, that's right.
Dry mouth. Dry 2 dry mouth.
Yep.
Is that a poster you could? No, I don't think so. Don't worry about that one. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Don't do it. Yeah, Deadline reports that there are no plans to send the sequel directly to Max, but there could be a theatrical day-and-date release for Horizon and American Saga Chapter 2, but that is reportedly still being assessed at the time. Yeah, I think it's just waiting to see streaming numbers and if social media...
I've heard of that.
But then again, like, how do you monitor
Bearing
that?
in mind, we don't know, folks.
No, we'll also...
We've reached another point in this podcast where we must admit to everybody we don't know what we're talking about.
I hate doing that.
Yeah, but we have to do it. We owe all of you an apology, but not each other.
No,
we know.
How do you monitor that?
I mean, just, I don't know, hashtags Horizon and American Saga. We love it on the Instagram.
Yeah, but
or on Twitter.
I guess in terms of the audience for this is probably people older than us.
Correct.
If you can believe it. And so do you look at Facebook?
Increasingly, I'm finding it hard to believe that there are people older than us, but yes.
Do you find it on Facebook? Is that the idea?
Yeah, you see how much Horizon and American Saga, like AI slop is appearing.
Why isn't anybody doing this anymore? And it's Kevin Costner drinking from a hose.
That's right. And with a sign that says, "It's my birthday." I'm sorry, it says, "It's my birthday."
All right, Mason, do you want to talk about Twisters or do you want to take a breath so I can talk about Despicable Me 4?
Oh.
I'm going to give you the option.
Yeah, get the Despicable Me stuff out
of
the way.
Okay, so you're not here anymore, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to leave the room and then Joel and Jackson they're in the waiting room.
Yeah.
I mean, we could make them wait longer.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah. You can go under the table again if you want.
I didn't do that before and I'm not going to do it again.
I feel like you probably did.
I don't think I did.
All right, but you'll be back.
Maybe.
All right, now that Mason is under the table again, which is what he does when we have guests in now.
Yeah.
We invite him. You invited him. You insisted that he stay in.
We were very polite about it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for keeping our feet warm under the table, Nick Mason.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Little hot water bottle.
Yeah.
So, look, I've got you guys in today because, for a couple of reasons. First of all, we three are going on tour in the UK together.
Yeah, we are.
The London stuff is nearly sold out.
Yeah, so at time of recording, the Weekly Planet episode featuring me, Joel Duscher, and my good friend Jackson Bailey.
That's me.
Yeah.
Weekly Planet show sold out. But there is tickets to watch a live stream of it, basically.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Still available. And we are also doing a Plumbing the Death Star episode with me, Joel Duscher, my good friend Jackson Bailey.
That's me.
And mine and Jackson's good friend James.
Yeah, exactly.
Switching it up. Two very distinct shows.
Yeah, they'll be different.
But all three of us will be on stage the whole time for both.
That's right. Yeah, so that's the 13th and 14th. Is
Yeah,
that right?
of September.
Yeah.
And also, the Plumbing the Death Star show at time of recording only has about 35 to 40 tickets left.
Yeah.
So
Hurry.
move quick.
Yeah,
Get
get
in.
in there now.
I've also got dates, and this will be linked below for Edinburgh,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is another. I would have said this up top, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's good to repeat it, though.
Yeah, Manchester and Birmingham.
Yes.
Yeah. Birmingham, we're still confirming some things, but the other two should be on sale.
Yes,
as
Check
of,
the show
And
notes
if you
for those.
check the
dates.
show notes, and if you want more information on that, go back to the start of the
Start
episode.
listening from the top to get back to this point. All
I
right.
would have said it,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. But look, also, I've got you guys in here for another reason. First
Yeah.
of all, to see if we can actually work together. Like,
Yeah.
if we could actually talk at the same time. No, different time. We have
It's
to.
a bad start, man.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
We're talking about Despicable Me 4 because I don't think this matters as much to you guys, except everything is busier when
Yeah.
you go to see a movie. But Despicable Me 4 is out along with several other children's movies.
Yeah.
We've got Garfield. I talked Inside Out 2 recently. Did you guys watch Garfield? Any chance?
I haven't seen Go.
No, I watched the
unfortunately.
trailer once and was
Yeah.
like, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, and I know this isn't a particularly controversial opinion.
Yeah.
But famous actor Chris Pratt, if he was removed from every source of media,
Wow.
I would be a little happy. He is a good Star-Lord, though. I know people love him as
Yeah, yeah.
Star-Lord.
He is a good
I will
He's
say
very
that's true.
charismatic, yeah.
Yeah.
When they were like, oh, let's recast him, let's get in, what's his name? He played Night Owl or Owlman. From Watchmen.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Wait, Patrick Wilson?
Patrick
Yeah, but-
Wilson.
Yeah, I'm like, no, he's like, just let it ride.
Leave
It's fine.
No, I
Yeah,
think
he's
that-
terrific.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Chris Pratt is really good as Star-Lord, but I also think that, like, when the Infinity War stuff happened and they're like, Star-Lord's wrecked everything, I was like,
Yeah.
that's perfect. It lines up with his character.
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
A moron.
Who's just thinking with his heart, not his head.
Exactly. But is Chris Pratt Garfield?
No.
And does it seem funny to come to bat for who is Garfield? Yeah. To even have an opinion on that seems absurd.
It's also funny that he was Mario, then Garfield.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
forgot
know
that.
who should be Garfield, but it shouldn't be Chris Pratt.
No,
That's my
I
belief.
guess Bill Murray again. If we
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to.
exactly.
If we had
Trick
to.
him a second time.
Yeah.
So I just want to quickly talk about box office. So these normally are budgeted reasonably lowly, about $100 million to make
Yep.
Despicable Me
Okay.
4, which is. It's it's surprising to say. It's like, well, that's reasonable.
Yeah,
they really
yeah.
exercised some restraint on this franchise.
yeah.
And the first weekend, the 3-day weekend in the US, it made $75 million. It's probably not going to do as well as Inside Out 2 because
Yep.
I think parents hate this franchise.
People hate
Yeah.
the Minions.
Yeah.
Which is-
Unfairly, I might say. They're much maligned. Yeah, exactly.
We do it at the same time and it worked.
It was good. I think we're going to nail this.
We're going to be chasing that high the entire
The
tour.
whole tour.
We always finish each other.
Minions.
So listeners are going to want to buy tickets to every show just in case.
What if we
that
do that
happens
again? Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Now, normally I ask Mason this, but he's asleep.
Yeah.
What do you think the story was? Either of you guys can answer that.
Okay, easy. Gru and his
No, you're
beautiful...
supposed to go, oh, man.
Oh, sorry.
man.
I forgot.
Thanks, man.
Mason forgot to word me up properly.
Yeah.
Oh, James. Bloody hell. Well, actually, the story is...
Yeah.
Gru and his beautiful wife, Lucy, just like still working for the Anti-Villains League as continuation of Despicable Me 3. And then Gru has maybe bit off more than he can chew,
Yeah.
tracking down the #1 most wanted villain for the Anti-Villains League, a guy whose name I forget.
Maxime.
Well, yeah, Maxime.
Something.
It's Will Ferrell.
It's Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a bit to catch it, actually.
Yeah.
A credit
yeah.
to that performance. But yeah, my first note here is just like, what the fuck is up with this guy? I know this franchise. I
Yeah.
vaguely I don't even know which ones I've kind of seen. I sort of remember seeing 3, and I think I liked it. But I
Yeah.
feel like this one, it seemed kind of like aimless. Another
Okay.
note here is
Yeah.
is this funny? Is
so
it? Is
James?
Also, I saw it
Yeah.
yesterday, and I've forgotten so much about it already.
I saw it yesterday. I remember every single scene.
Okay, cool.
lucky you've asked us what the story
Yeah,
is. because I
exactly.
asked
I know.
you.
I read the Wikipedia before this as well, just to be sure.
So you're not sure how many Despicable Me's you've seen.
Yeah.
I know how many I've seen. 4, because I watched all 4 of them in a 24-hour
Oh
period.
my god!
And Jackson has seen not only all 4 Despicable Me's,
But
but
both Minions movies as
I
well.
like the Minions.
The Minions
movies.
movie is
Yeah,
great.
I think they're both. I think I've seen both. whatever element of those that I've seen, I like.
I really like
the first one.
Yeah.
The first one is when the minion Bob becomes the king very briefly.
He becomes King Bob. Very briefly, he's King Bob.
That's fun.
And then the second one is the rise of Gru. That's the
Yeah.
one with baby Gru.
yeah,
in it.
and that's fun also.
That's
Yeah.
fun as well.
Yeah.
What I love about Minions 1 is that it has no character capable of an emotional arc. And I think that's wonderful. I think, you watch like a lot of kids' movies and they'll often do the like schmaltzy, like, oh, obviously it's a kids' movie. We've not really set up these characters much, but we're going to try for an emotional ending. You got this in 4 with one of his daughters and the goat or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's
It's like,
right.
well,
But
I
the
guess-
goats from 3.
It's
Yeah.
from 3.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in Minions, they're just minions.
Yeah.
The end result is they remain minions. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, but to continue what the story in 4 was,
Yeah.
before we get too distracted by reminiscing about the wonders that is the Despicable Me
God,
franchise.
the minions are good.
Gru catches Maxime. Maxime is now a cockroach man.
Yeah, he's got
because
roach
cockroaches
powers.
are powerful.
Yeah.
He has little cockroach minions, which do not play a big part in the film
No.
whatsoever.
No, it felt like they were going for something there and then went up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
actually.
forget about it.
What's
Yeah.
that? This is
Yeah.
stupid. We're sorry.
Sorry.
And then in prison, he threatens Gru and Gru's family, Maxime that is. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, Gru, I'm going to come kill you and I'm going to kill your family.
Yeah. He does say that specifically.
Yeah.
So then
Gru's scared. The anti-villain league come and
like-
let Gru and his family know, and Gru's scared,
Yeah.
which is
Gru has a kid now, Gru Jr.
that's
yeah.
true. And Gru
His-
Jr. he does not like Gru.
Yeah.
Should have called him Grunya.
Yes.
And
Whatever.
Grunier is also his first biological child because
Yeah.
the Gorals
The
were
Gorals.
adopted.
Yes.
Exactly.
Anyway, so they get relocated to a new town where
Yeah.
the anti-villains
Do
league...
his family know? I've forgotten this. Does he tell his wife, who I thought was a super spy, but is like,
she works for the anti-villain.
that's what I
league.
mean, like, because she went like toe to toe with him in like
Yeah.
previous
Yeah, yeah.
entries, right?
In the second one.
It
Yeah.
seems like they like nerfed her.
Oh yeah,
in
they
this.
really did. She's been
Yeah.
nerfed. They
Yeah.
nerfed
Yeah.
Lucy Wilde.
And they're like,
yeah.
we'll make her a hairdresser for a minute, I guess.
Yeah,
They've made her goofier,
Yeah.
but she is still kind of clumsy in her introduction.
Yeah.
When she first meets Gru, she keeps
Why do I have
tasering
5
him.
messages? Oh, sorry, don't worry. It just came through. Sorry, keep going.
That's all right. Anyone
Yeah.
saying anything good?
Yeah. Any
No.
good messages?
No,
That's
no.
the
sucks,
problem
man.
about lots of
Dreadful.
messages at the same time.
They're never going to be good. It's never a bunch of congratulations.
Hey, well done. Although you were saying you got multiple messages today, Jax, that was due to a government mishap.
Yeah, that's
sending
true. I got
you
a bunch of
multiple-
messages being like, "Here's $100." That was pretty good. Yeah. Due to a Medicare
Here's
sort of issue.
$100.
Hey, buddy, here's $100.
Here's $100 multiple
Yeah.
times.
Hey,
And,
buddy, here's $100.
$100.
and then Jackson immediately used that to buy the full
Hellboy
Hellboy
Omnibus.
Omnibus. So listeners who aren't familiar with us,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, we read comics as well. We know what's going on.
Exactly.
They just started. Don't fall for this. Fake nerds.
Yeah, now that we've finished the Despicable Me franchise, we're starting
I'm
with
going at the comics. So they move into the safe house, and at the same time, the minions that haven't gone into the safe house, who work for the anti-villain league, the anti-villain league has got them for a brand new program. Very exciting. They intend to make the Mega Minions. Now these are minions.
Oh, yeah. That's
with
right. Yeah.
wonderful
That's a whole
superpowers.
element.
That's a whole 3 scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
yeah. Where the minions are given superpowers and tasked with fighting crime.
So
Yeah.
there's a stretchy arm guy, there's a rock guy, there's a strong guy, and I think the rock guy and the strong guy, you could
Yeah.
kind of like, that's one guy,
I don't
right?
really know what was different about them.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the
the
rock
rock
guy
guys-
ate a lot of
The
different.
rock
Yeah.
guy eats and
Yeah.
is heavy, where the strong
Yeah.
guy's just strong. There's also a Cyclops guy.
Yeah.
I loved the Cyclops.
Yeah.
Me too. He
Just
was really good.
incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot. There's a moment where he does. I didn't laugh a lot at this, or at all, but there is a moment where he shoots his laser like through the earth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Yeah, we laughed at bits.
I laughed at bits. I find the minions very charming.
Am I wrong that like this isn't as strong as the other entries?
So,
though?
As
Yeah, great-
someone who
great
watched
point, yeah.
all of them in a 24-hour
Yeah.
period, and I cannot stress that this is not a joke, I watched 3 of these back to back, and then the next morning went to the cinema to watch that because I take my time on the Weekly Platter very seriously.
I can tell. Yeah,
I want to do the research. Unlike Nick Mason, who allegedly reviewed something he didn't even watch one time.
Oh my
Yeah, I still don't know
god.
what that is.
Yeah.
Mason.
He won't
He's not.
tell us.
He's funny.
He's fallen asleep.
He's curled up on your feet like a cat. Yeah.
This is better than 3, but is significantly worse than 1 and 2.
Okay.
I think that's true.
And it is kind of a Despicable Me trope at this point. It seems like the writers have too many ideas for what they want the plot of the movie to be.
Yeah.
Which seems like a crazy claim because most kids' movies are like quite lazy if they're
Yeah,
bad.
sure,
Yes.
for
Like
sure.
you're like, oh, this is the most obvious thing. But Despicable Me doesn't do that. It's like they're like, oh, here's 4 or 5 ideas that could be a whole movie.
Yeah,
But we're just going to
exactly.
put them all
Yeah.
in one and then just kind of jump between. Because
It does feel like vignettes, but broken up over a 90 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, and you come back to something and you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's going to be a fight in a supermarket because there was a haircut earlier.
You're like, oh, that's right. And like the Mega Minions, they get the creation of the Mega Minions, one attempt at fighting crime.
Where they wreck everything and the
It's very
entire
funny.
city hates them.
And then you get the final scene where they come back with a bunch of animals for various reasons.
Yeah.
Because when they went into retirement, each Mega Minion took a job that
Oh,
required
that's right.
a bunch of animal. I don't even know. And then but there's like 3 scenes, but all the promotion was like the Mega Minions. That's what the movie's about.
Yeah, they get their powers. They get hated by the city, forced into retirement. And they're like, oh, actually, retirement sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they go to a farm.
And that's,
My son, because there's a moment where they are trying to save people and they're doing more damage, and there's a moment where there's a bomb and the rock guy eats the bomb, and then the city's saved, and then he burps, and then like there's a shockwave, and everyone's like, boo! But my son was like, that's better than a bomb, and I'm like, you're right, that is better. I saw it with my son.
It's more
by the way.
ideal than a bomb. Yeah, that is true. He's
I
right
saw
on
it with
that.
my good
Who
friend
loved
Jackson.
it? Oh, yeah.
Who loved it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we did it again!
Oh my god. No, but you're right, because I think a strange thing they keep doing is they keep adding characters to Gru's family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this weird. So, like in this one, there's that
I
teenage.
thought he was going to adopt the neighbor.
Me
I thought
too.
that was going to end.
But
oh
it's-
yeah, that's right. There's this part of it too.
Where
yeah.
there's the next door neighbor's teenage daughter is a villain. Like they want to try to become a supervillain.
Well, they're
So-
applying to go to the school
The
that
supervillain
Gru
school.
used to go to.
Yeah.
That also the start of the movie takes place
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So it's just all of a sudden you get told about Maxime a lot. He's in the movie like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's crazy for them to introduce a new.
He was Megamind.
He was.
He was
so-
Megamind.
Because remember, there was a moment where it's like these two of the movies are the same,
Yeah.
and like fuck Megamind. They made that new one. Did you guys watch it?
No,
yeah,
they
but
made
I've
a
heard it's real
atrocious,
bad.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made the straight to streaming movie and a TV series at the same time,
Oh,
but both
okay.
stink.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
God.
But I
Just
thought,
me riding
I thought
high.
it was weird that they had this new teenage girl character
Yeah.
for Gru to bond with when Gru had 3 children
That's
already.
a good point. You
His
could've-
corals are right
I
there.
was
Yeah.
like, what are we doing with this character?
You're
Like,
right.
where-
One of them could have been like, I want to move
Yeah,
into
exactly.
villainy.
Yeah, but I guess they had to. Yeah, I don't
It could have
even
been
know.
like, I'll tell mum about the cockroach man because
Yeah.
maybe you keep that from her. I don't know.
Yeah.
And unless you do a mission with me because I want to be like
yeah,
Gru or
exactly. I
something.
want to. Oh, okay, and then you get exactly the same
Yeah.
thing, but like it's not just like a brand new character
Yeah.
coming in. And
I
then,
didn't mind her though. At first, I'm like, this seems pointless.
Yeah.
But then there's a little heist for a
yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun.
Well,
Absolutely.
Bachelor
that
or
heist,
whatever.
Jackson and I were talking about prior to recording, reminiscing about the fact that it's good that that's there because it reminds you that Gru is capable.
yeah.
Yes.
Because he
He's
gets
very competent in
Totally,
that.
Yes.
he gets fucked over by his silly little goofy minions.
Yeah.
The minions they cause so many problems.
And
for
then,
him.
so he gets given, rather than his bag of equipment, a bag of baby, like things to keep, like a baby care package, basically. They're like nappies, safety pins, blah, 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 blah.
That was good. That was inventive how he used
Yeah.
that to.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I enjoyed that.
It was fun to
They
watch
thought
him.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I still think it's so wild that the Despicable Me movies, especially 3 and 4, have too much stuff. It's like, why didn't you just make a movie about that?
I know you
Yeah.
could,
Why
have
didn't
just
you
been Gru and then this up and coming villain like teenage girl trying to get into the academy. Oh,
Yeah.
that's enough. It's a
Exactly,
movie.
yeah.
Settle down.
Also, I don't like because I think the director came out or somebody associated with this said that his children are not going to age.
Yes.
I hate that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Just, I mean, the baby's going to be a baby forever.
Forever?
I hate that. I really hate
Yeah.
that.
But for the director to say that, it's really strange because there's 2 scenes across the series already that directly are aligned to the character's age. Like, so
Right.
the youngest kid, whose name I always
Agnes, I think, is the youngest child.
Yeah,
Maybe.
she has a birthday in Despicable Me 2 or might be the start of 3 actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she has aged.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And then in this, the oldest daughter starts junior high school, and like that's also a big
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So like, what's going on?
It's like Bart Simpson rules, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
where like they have milestones but don't.
Yeah,
it
nothing
doesn't affect
changes.
But it's
anything.
also funny because, like, at least in The Simpsons, it's like an episodic TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With very little continuity. But in like movies, you just kind of expect it. And when, I don't know, when you see that they haven't aged again, it feels
Especially since
incongruous.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
weird because like at least with Incredibles 2, which I didn't love.
No.
But it's set like directly after
Yeah.
the first. So there's like
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there's been like 19 of these movies or whatever. Or not even. But you know, it feels like it's been moving forward
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
while. Yeah.
Plus,
I
I
mean,
think Gru's
doesn't matter.
aging. Gru
Gru
ages.
is aging,
Gru-
yeah.
Gru's, there's some sort of poignant about that. Gru's aging. Time will come for Gru.
to have a marriage and then a baby and then not age the kids does seem weird.
And like Gru in The Rise of Gru, he's like 11.
Yeah, he ages throughout the series.
We know he's capable of
He's
aging.
You know what I do like about the people in this universe, or even any animal or object or whatever?
Yeah.
Everybody is like a fucking live hand grenade, and you don't know who.
Yeah.
So like, there's like that badger, for example. It's a pretty obvious one, but there's a moment where she burns that woman's hair or whatever in the salon, and then later comes across her. It reminded me of this. It's a weird parallel, but have you ever seen the zombie show Black Summer?
No,
I don't
not
think
even
so.
heard of it.
It's on Netflix. Nobody's seen it. There's 2 seasons. It's probably the best zombie thing in like the last 20 years.
Whoa, that's huge.
After like 28 days later and whatever.
Yeah.
But basically everybody in that is like a bomb waiting to go off. So as soon as you get like nicked or bitten or scraped or whatever, you become a screaming zombie lunatic straight away.
Whoa.
And like it's the fast zombie rule. So everybody that you're with could like go off at any point.
Oh, that's great.
So like you can be in a fight with a zombie with a friend and then it turns and all of a sudden you're fighting 2 different people. It's amazing. You should watch it. It's genuinely incredible.
That's cool.
Movie or series?
A series. There's two episodes, 2 series, sorry, and they cancelled it. But it's amazing. I wasn't like. It's also connected to that iZombie or something. It's sort of set in that universe, but like not at all. Like I haven't seen that show, but anyway. It's irrelevant. But I feel like everybody in this has like a trigger point.
Yes.
And then could like
they go feral.
Yeah, she becomes the Terminator. It's a very obvious Terminator.
Yeah, they play the
homage.
music.
Yeah,
exactly. And I love that everybody's got like a breaking point and it becomes everybody's incredibly dangerous.
Yeah. Well,
and you don't know who.
That is a thing again in the franchise. The whole because the world building and stuff like that is very consistent.
Yeah.
Like there's just this massive league of villains. Everyone's just aware of heists and villainy.
Yes.
They're not even like. It doesn't seem like there's regular police. It's just,
that's true.
There's like the villains and then the anti-villain league, and they're just fighting the whole time, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it is a bananas universe. The character design seems lazy at points, but then occasionally they
Just
serve the most fucked up guy you've ever seen. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Well, that's innovative.
Like I think in the principal's 2 bodyguards who were like 2 bricks on legs.
Oh right,
they rocked.
yeah.
What a good shape,
well,
dude.
yeah.
What
Yeah,
a
and
good
they
shape.
hand the principal something, and their hands are as big as her head. That's awesome.
I also don't think the cockroach guy is that really a credible threat for Gru, considering, and I think, you're right, like, they nerfed him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you've dealt with, like, guys like
Yeah,
this,
exactly.
right, old robots and whatever.
You stole the moon once,
You stole the
man.
moon, as you reminded everybody.
Yeah,
in this.
exactly.
If you are a big fan of the Despicable Me franchise, which I know a lot of fans of the Weekly Planet are,
Absolutely.
this is
Of course.
the first one that gets self-referential.
Yeah.
Oh, where they
which is
say another
interesting.
thing happened once.
They're like, hey, remember these things? Like, you get so Lucy, his wife, he meets in the second one. They're married and they get married in the third.
Maybe it's 2 that I saw with her. Maybe I haven't seen 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
3's got his twin brother, Drew.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that. I know because he's got the blonde hair.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, I
He's-
don't think I've seen that one.
Hey, look, spoilers for the end of Despicable Me 4. They do like a cameo thing.
Yeah.
And Drew's there.
Drew's there.
He's in the birthday
There's a
party.
brief Drew cameo.
In
Yeah,
the
yeah.
credits?
No, do you remember at the end of Despicable Me
Where they
4?
start
No.
singing the song.
James, please.
What song are they singing?
They're singing Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And we get a bunch of cameos from characters from all the other Despicable Me
Oh,
movies.
that's of course. Oh, he is there. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
And included characters from both Minions
Minions
movies
movies.
as well.
Yeah.
Who have aged.
Yes, they
Oh,
have
that's right,
aged.
because that's one of them set in the 60s sort
Yeah.
of ish. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
What I didn't like about that, and I think the same can be said for, have you seen Kung Fu Panda 4?
No.
Well, at the end, they bring back a bunch of the villains from the previous ones. And so the Kung Fu Panda and his mates or whatever, his mates aren't in it. They kind of write him out.
Yeah.
That's
and
funny.
it is.
Jackie Chan probably needs a lot of money.
Yeah.
To
Absolutely.
do Kung Fu Panda 4 these days.
They do cameo, but they don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
Then no one's talking.
No one's talking. And at the end, they bring back Tai Long from the first one, the
Yep.
Panther guy. And there's the other ones there, but they're not. The other ones aren't voiced.
Yeah.
So it feels
yeah,
kind of
it's just-
lazy. And
yeah.
like, oh, it would have been cool if like you got Gary Oldman back
Yeah.
and whatever. And I feel like it would have been cool if they had done a similar thing here.
Absolutely. And I think
It's
it's
crazy
even
that-
crazier because Drew is Steve
Carell.
Carell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He does have a different
He
voice
was
actor.
there.
Is that a 2 paycheck situation? Mate? It might be. Like if he's voicing 2 characters.
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
mean, why
I
not?
want another $1 million.
Steve Carell's looking at like the storyboarding for it and be like, is that Drew? And they're like, yeah. He's like,
What's he saying?
a couple of lines coming my way, I reckon. Well, who else voices? Because Benjamin,
Jason Segel's one of them.
yeah, he's Vector in the
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
The guy from, as a reference point, a wild one. But I
Okay.
reckon, James, this will help you.
Okay.
The guy from Miscongeniality, Benjamin.
Oh, Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah.
Is he one of them?
He's El Macho. in the
Oh,
second
yes.
one.
Yeah.
And then you've got another wild one.
Trey.
Sandra Bullock's in there?
Sandra Bullock's in there?
No,
Oh, you just think
Is it
just
in Minions?
congeniality.
Is it
No.
in Minions, though?
Sandra Bullock is one of the
Yes.
Minions villains.
She's their first boss, yeah?
Yeah, and
Okay.
the most surprising voice of all the villains is in the third one,
Yeah.
where the villain is voiced by Trey Parker.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
very
he
strange.
sounds like
Oh,
Cartman
he's got
at-
the tall
Yeah, he's
hair.
from the 80s.
and his name is
something Brat.
it might actually be Benjamin.
I think it might be
That would be
Benjamin
amazing
Brat.
if they just went, yeah, it's
I
Benjamin
think
Bratt.
it is.
Incredible.
It
Could
we
be.
we could find out very
Yeah,
quickly.
it's possible. I feel like what they should build towards, I don't know whether they're going to do this,
Yeah.
is they recruit all the previous villains either to like a Sinister Six Gru,
Oh, yeah.
or Gru has to lead a team of villains.
Oh, a kind of Suicide Squad
Exactly,
with Gru.
kills them all.
A Gruicide Squad,
Oh
if you
my
will.
God. I will. I definitely will.
I think that'd be great. I think they could do another thing. I think that a direction they could take the Despicable Me franchise is that there's a lot of supervillains, but there's not really a single superhero unless
Okay,
you
yeah.
count the Mega Minions, which of course I do. Not every Despicable Me purist is going to. So I think that could be if they're going to make a Despicable Me 5, it could
Yeah.
be like, hey, there's a superhero on the scene.
Okay.
We need the greatest villain of all time to take him down.
Unless they do the thing that this actually might be the plot of Megamind.
Yeah.
Basically, you do the incorruptible or irredeemable
Oh,
thing
yeah.
where you're just like, hey, here's all the boys.
Yeah.
Here's a superhero. Oh, they've gone bad, so we need the villains to go good.
I think in Megamind, it's Brad Pitt, I believe. I think he just has a mental breakdown.
No.
and
He
doesn't
just
want to be a
goes, doesn't
superhero.
he?
Yeah, he just goes. Yeah.
Fair enough.
No one's
Yeah.
ever written a story. What if Superman just went?
Yeah. What if he
yeah.
wasn't there?
Yeah.
They have written that. It's called What Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
I read comic books.
Yeah, I saw him reading it before this.
Just quickly Googling it. Quick references to comic books I
Comic
can
where
make.
Superman just goes.
Speaking of references, though, James, did you notice there's a reference to you in this movie?
That's true.
What?
This is huge.
Is it the
yeah,
goat?
the moment well,
So Agnes,
Yeah.
the daughter,
Yeah.
is being consoled by Gru. I think it's Gru consoling him, being like, hey, when we get back Lucky, the goat,
Yeah.
don't worry, they'll remember you and remember all the tricks you do and remember the podcast you do together.
Oh my God. And they did say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun joke.
Yeah.
Like these guys just doing, like, that is something a kid would do, like do a podcast with a goat.
That's-
like,
that's
my kids
truly
would
innovating.
100% do that. Yeah. Yeah.
how long do you reckon you could listen to a podcast that was like a 5-year-old and a
Talking
goat?
to a goat?
If it's your own kid, forever.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
If it's
absolutely.
another kid, not a single second. Like I've recorded my kids, like
Yeah.
not like for content, but like we record stuff together, like because they sort of know what I do, or my
Yeah.
older one does, and so we do like make little podcasts
Yeah.
that will never go out anywhere. But
Unless
it's,
they're
it's
really good, then
unless
that'll be
they're-
the next
they
episode
gotta
of
get
Weekly
much
Planet.
better. So they got a lot of work to do. So yeah, but no, I would love that. Yeah.
This is a thing you just reminded me that I saw literally today.
Uh-huh.
Do you know there's like an episode of Dexter's Laboratory that is a kid, like a 5-year-old, sent in their transcript for an episode and they animated it?
Oh wow, I love that.
And most of it is the kid as Dexter from Dexter's Lab calling a robot an idiot. Like that's 90% of it is him being like, "You idiot! This is why you're an idiot." It's incredible. So maybe it would be good. I don't
Oh
know.
man, I love that.
Maybe
so
kids
much.
make the best content.
Oh, another note here is his baby is a cockroach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really
But then they fix it.
They fix it. Oh yeah, Russell Brand's character, who's not voiced by Russell
Yeah.
Brand.
Yeah.
I think it's because he went too religious. I think
Yeah.
that's the reason. Probably.
I suspect so. Yeah, that's
Another
what they'll
victim
say.
of woke culture.
Yeah.
They had so.
I like that character. It is a shame. I like Dr.
Dr.
Nefarious.
Nefarious. So
So yeah.
They speak to him,
Yeah.
then he goes back in a tube.
Yeah.
What?
To die. I assume.
So he
Why is he in the tube?
leaves Gru.
Is he in the Minions prequel too?
Yes,
Yeah.
well, he's in Rise of Gru as
Yeah.
a young man.
Yes,
and
that's what I
he
thought,
runs
yeah.
the record store.
Okay,
that
so
lets
he
you
ages.
access the. He ages. He's capable of aging.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's during. Actually, yeah, it's at the start of Despicable Me 3, he quits being Gru's assistant because he's sick of not doing evil, and then he goes to work for Balthazar Bratt, which is the villain's name, which is still way too close to Benjamin Bratt, who voiced the previous film.
That is crazy.
You've already had people message you and be like, it's actually Balthazar Bratt.
No, James, this is your podcast. They're messaging
Oh, yeah.
you.
Oh, God damn it, I forgot. God damn it.
Well, you can buy tickets to our UK tour and tell us to our faces.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
We don't
I
mind.
insist you do.
Yeah. Anyway, all in all, we do best movie ever, worst movie ever.
It's best movie ever for me.
Yeah, I would say it's the best movie ever for
Look,
me.
I didn't love it. My son did. I guess I'll say best movie ever because it was fine. I like how what a strange world, but I feel like you could push it further.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They need to just realize that these are going to make money so they can relax with their ideas and like just focus on one thing at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, like going from, we had the Minions movie, All Minion.
Yeah.
And then Minions, and they Chuck Grew in. You didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
I would have watched another 10 movies that were just the Minions getting into shenanigans.
Critics didn't love the first Minions movies, but they liked the second one a
crazy
lot
to
more.
me.
I
Oh,
think
is that
Gru
right?
is the secret. They need to stop. We didn't talk about this, but they really need to stop separating the Minions and Gru.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are
Keep
fun
them
together. Yeah.
Keep them
yeah.
together.
And I feel like some of the Minion stuff when like they're in the pool together and it's just like hitting him with the pool noodle, I feel like that's lazy.
Yeah.
But then you got the one in the background like still in the vending machine.
Oh, that's so
and
funny.
I love that. It's just like how
Reading
did
a
that
book called The Vending Machine Diet because he's been in the vending machine so long, he's learning to adapt.
Oh, that's something I wanted
so
to
funny.
ask. Of those three, whose names I can't remember, those three Minions.
Bob Stewart and Kevin.
Thank you. Is there one that they particularly pick on, or does that rotate?
Well, so Bob is sort of the baby of the main three Minions. Okay. And so he probably gets picked on the most. Kevin is sort of the brains of the operation.
Right.
And Stewart's the sort of horn dog. He's sort of the Romeo Lothario
Okay,
of the
so
Minions.
they are different.
Yeah,
and
extremely
also
distinct.
Something that's
Extremely.
something that's worth noting as well is those three Minions aren't the main Minions in the Despicable Me movies. Those are the three main ones in the Minions movies.
Yeah.
They are in the Despicable Me ones.
Oh, okay.
But Dave and Mel are the two that get a big look in the Despicable Me films.
Right.
Dave gets a look in, and listeners, this is a wild claim, but the movie points it out. He really wants to have sex with Gru's wife, Lucy.
Yeah.
Dave the Minion, when he meets Lucy, has a fantasy about kissing her on a beach. You see it.
That's strange. Something's wrong with Dave, dude.
Yeah, man.
I really like Mel because Mel of Dominion seems like he really cares about, like he would be a union rep.
He's the
I think.
balding one, right?
Yeah.
Which is the one with the one eye?
That's Bob, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
it's
He was
like-
the one in the vending machine.
Kevin's the tall one.
Yeah, Tall One has one eye, doesn't it?
Oh, he does too. I don't know. He might have been a new minion.
Yeah. Dave got turned into a rock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's
okay,
right.
That makes sense.
One thing, Despicable Me movies, all of them have it, I think, where a bad thing happens to one minion and then for the rest of the movie, they're just like that. In the third one, one's head gets stuck in like a beaker, and anytime he pops up, he's still just got the beaker stuck over his head. It's awesome.
Did they
That's
resolve
funny.
it at the end? Or
No.
is
Yeah,
he
he's just stuck like that.
Yeah.
Same with the vending machine
I
guy.
would have liked some continuity into the next movie.
It
where,
still
like,
has
still
the.
in
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, easy best movie ever for me.
Yeah, me too.
It is the third best of the Despicable Me franchise.
Wow. That is of the franchise.
Oh, sorry, the Despicable Me series. I haven't seen the two Minions.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy.
He calls himself
sorry.
a true fan.
Yeah.
But
I'm too busy reading comic books, which I know no one here respects.
sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Again, our links to our live shows in the UK are below. Do you guys have social media?
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about it?
No. They're a secret. You can listen to, you can find us on social media. I'm at Douche13, DUSCH13 on X, which I don't really use. Instagram, which I use a lot more. Or you can find me on Letterboxd if you want to read my movie reviews.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
using Instagram.
They're
as well, yeah.
deranged, I would probably say.
I'm at All Dogs Are Dead on Twitter. I'm Hams Forever on Instagram. And I think
Good,
I've
you've
just,
got continuity between your.
yeah. And I'm on Letterboxd too. Jackson Bailey.
Jackson _ Bailey.
Jackson
Awesome.
_ Bailey.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah.
got, of course, to Plumbing the Death Star, which I've been on a few episodes.
You sure have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
including
Big
some newer
time.
ones. Thumb Cramps, a video game podcast.
Yeah, if you like the energy of, if you were like, hey, I like these two guests that popped up on the Weekly Planet while Nick Mason sat under the table, and you're like, I wish that they could potentially go more minion mode.
Yeah.
Thumb Cramps is the podcast for you. It's a video game review podcast. It kind of feels like it fell into,
A bad soup.
it's popular. People
Yeah.
like it.
People like it. All right. Thank you.
Hey,
Hey, thank you, man.
Mason, you can get out from under the table now.
I think he's dead.
Oh,
That's
no.
so sad, man.
Welcome back, Mason.
Welcome back.
How was the floor?
I don't know, because I wasn't on the floor. I wasn't on the floor physically, and I certainly wasn't on the floor laughing with the hilarious things you didn't say in that segment,
God.
probably.
I thought it went pretty well.
I thought it went really badly. I think they were embarrassed for you. I felt like there was a big dip, and they were like, man, we really have to lift our game to improve this segment, which James has ruined.
Oh,
you know?
thanks, man.
They were like, I know it's just a movie review, but James is really
Giving
Is
it
he
his all?
sick? I think he's sick.
I'm not incredibly well. But yeah, let's push on, Mason. Twisters
Nice.
are doing it for themselves.
Absolutely.
They're out on their own.
That's right.
With a budget of $200 million and a box office return, it looks as if the US opening weekend is going to be anywhere between 40 and 55 million. Those are early numbers. That's via THR. I saw an early morning Thursday screening of this, and it was pretty freaking busy at
Really?
that time. Often it's not.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
feel like there is a bit of buzz.
There's a bit of
I
buzz.
was going to think of a pun.
A bit of a whoosh.
A bit of a whoosh to this.
A bit of box office whoosh.
What did you? What about you? Did you get the sense of that?
When I booked my ticket, there was going to be one person over the other side of the cinema and 4 people a few rows in front of me.
Yep.
And then when I showed up, there was just the one person to the side, and the other 4 people, they didn't show up.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they paid for the tickets, though, didn't they?
I mean, that's good.
Yep,
It's
that's
good for
good.
the movie Twister.
That's right.
What do you think the story
Oh,
was?
come on, mate. Come on, mate.
Yeah.
Did you in that segment? Did you ask Joel or Jackson what they thought the
I
story
did
was?
actually. Yeah.
Interesting.
You were asleep under the table.
I wasn't asleep. You were at the Sanspants studio recording it
Don't
separately.
name where it is.
Everybody knows where it is.
Do they?
I think so.
Maybe bleep that out, colleagues, just in case.
We can ask them.
We can't now. They're
Also,
gone.
it's really hard to get to. So
it is.
none of our listeners are taking the train and the bus or whatever.
It's true. Anyway, what do you think the story was?
Okay, so it's a remake of Twisters, basically.
Yeah.
It's a remake of original Twister.
There's some more junk science here.
Yeah, there is
There's
more
some new stuff.
So this is
All the data from Twister 1 is useless
Yeah.
now.
Look, here's the thing I would say first off. If you're like, oh, I don't want to watch this if it's a legacy sequel to Twister, it's not really.
No.
I would say they've made the brave decision of not revealing at any point that any of these characters, their dad was Carrie Elwes or their mum was
Thank God.
Bill Paxton or whatever.
Yeah, thank God.
You know, it's just
They don't even show up and go, hello, I'm Helen Hunt. or
you're
whatever.
doing a really good job
We've
here.
got a Twister commentary at bigsandwich.co though.
You're doing almost as good as a job as I did in 1996. So we got the movie opens with a bunch
Yep.
of what do they call them? Twister heads?
Yeah.
Storm chasers.
Yeah.
They're out there. They're a bunch of college kids, and they're out there. They're going woo, and they're chasing storms.
They're
They're
hooting
getting
and
data.
hollering.
They've got all their doohickeys and gizmos and gadgets, and they're going to
Yep.
get out there. And also, they're young and they're in love, and they're in love with science and each other, and they're having a great time. But guess what? Tragedy strikes.
God, you knew that was going to happen, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Especially
yeah.
because she has a boyfriend at the start, Daisy Edgar Jones's character, but
How's she going to be Glenn Powell's boyfriend later?
you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I said Glenn Powell's boyfriend.
I know what you said. Yeah. Also, I think you don't need to see the first one at all. There's hints towards it, like there's like Dorothy, the can which has all the Twister data balls in it.
The bin full of balls.
Yeah, there's a
I would have called it Mr. Bin full of balls.
but it's completely
And then I'd be like, no, call him Barry Bin full of balls. Mr. Bin full of balls was my father.
wait. So what you say calling him Barry Bin full of balls, but your dad is called
My dad is called Mr. Bin full of balls.
but he's not Barry Bin full of balls' dad.
Correct. That's correct. It's what you've said is correct.
Anyways, this is also, and I know you love this, a classic snobs versus slobs
It is
scenario.
slobs versus slobs.
Slobs,
That's right.
did you say slobs versus slobs? Or did I hear that wrong? Because Ollie kicked the door in again.
She did that and you're sick.
Okay,
in the
yeah.
head.
Yeah, you might be right.
It is a little bit slobs versus snobs, but
Yeah.
maybe the slobs and the snobs aren't who you think they are.
That's right,
You know,
yeah.
there's a couple of, this is so we fast forward a few years, and our main character, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, she's back in the big corporate world. She's not storm chasing anymore. She's report chasing.
Yes,
she's
that's
Excel
right.
spreadsheet chasing. But then Anthony Ramos from her past, one of the other survivors of the big Twister,
Yeah.
he's like, you got to get back in the Twister game. We need your expertise because you've got a nose.
You better not get scared.
That's right.
If you get scared, I'll be mad.
That's right.
Even though the Twister killed everybody.
That's right.
And I was
Exactly.
there.
Yeah, it was really, really traumatic.
It was pretty
actually.
scary,
It was very
actually.
scary, to be honest. TBH, it was very scary. But he's like, you got to get your nose out of those spreadsheets and put your nose back into a tornado or whatever.
Which I guess is similar to Bill Paxton's character in the first one because he went to become a weatherman.
That's true.
And they were like, don't be a weatherman, get in this weird car with Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah. R.I.P.
Well, I will because he's a fabulous actor and
Yeah.
probably seems like a nice man.
So there's the two teams we're talking about. There's the corporate, the elite.
You'd think that Anthony Ramos and Daisy Edgar Jones were part of the slobs.
Yeah.
But they're the snobs. They've got the shiny white vehicles.
That's right.
He's
They've got Superman with them.
That's right.
They've got David Corrin Sweat, who's Superman.
This movie is filled with it's got your stars in Anthony Ramos and Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell, but it's also got a bunch of people you're like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
And also David Corrin Sweat is there, and you're like, was he bulking during this movie? Did they have to keep?
Doesn't look like it.
Did they have to keep buying him increasingly large, short-sleeved white shirts?
Yeah,
to fit into?
What do you think of him actually? Because I haven't really seen him in much.
Neither did I, but I thought
liked him.
I'm like, this guy's got a pop to him.
Yeah,
You know?
he certainly does.
I like him. He's got
Even
a
though
good screen
he's
presence.
being a big button-down geek.
Yeah. So Anthony Ramos is like, well, in the 5 years where I haven't seen you,
Yeah.
I've been in the military.
I don't have a ponytail.
I won't elaborate what branch of the military, and you won't ask.
Yeah.
So don't even worry
No, he
about
said
it.
something to do with data something, didn't he?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he didn't say specifically what.
That's
did he?
what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I've built this business, and we're getting all the data on storm chasing, and we want you to be in there because we can do a lot of good. And she's like, all right, I guess I will. But they're in the shiny white cars, but also on the opposing team of slobs. We've got
Yes.
Glenn Powell, and he's a YouTuber. Yuck, gross, disgusting. Quite frankly,
I want to talk about how their business model works because it doesn't make any sense unless they have a big Patreon. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
maybe they have a big Patreon.
I should have mentioned it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on though. Well,
You can be. There's all sorts of fun names for the.
That's true.
There's the mighty wind tier.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, there's the pop and off tier.
There's a
that's
bit-
$1 a month.
Yeah, there's a bit of a whoosh.
A bit of a wish. That's $2. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
I'm a big gas bag tier. They're all farty puns. Right?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Anyway, he's a YouTuber. Yuck. And his whole team, they're out there. They're wild cowboys, and they just want to get in those. They want to get in those twisters, and they want to shoot fireworks up them, and take photos with the fans, and get out there. And they've got a whole entourage of crazy fans, and there's just a lot of enthusiasts out there who are also following the storms. But there's storms, and that's the enemy.
Yeah, that's right.
Got to watch out for those
They don't
storms.
specifically say it's like related to climate change.
Oh, there is
Do
a
they?
moment where
I
they
know
say,
they're like there's more storms than ever and whatever, but they're not.
I think we'll talk about it in the spoilers. There's also a line later on, right towards the end of the movie, where I'm like, interesting.
Okay.
I'll go.
Talk about it.
I'll talk about it. Yeah.
Anyway, we have more subscribers than these guys. They're like, we just got 1 million subscribers. There's like 9 people on that team. So they chase storms and then they shoot rockets into them for YouTube and they live stream it. And then, but they also they sell T-shirts and also they're a charity. And I just think as a business model,
Yeah, breaking
and
it
that
down.
level of popularity,
Yeah.
also I think people would get sick of this. I don't think this is a sustainable practice of
Interesting.
going into a storm 1 month of the year,
Yeah.
shooting rockets and then going, woo!
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough
But
to
maybe
it.
it's just people sign up for the Patreon, they don't cancel. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that
And so
might
they're
be
getting
it.
a continuous income all year.
Yeah, I like that.
They don't think about it. They're like, oh, it's $1 a month, whatever. But they got a lot of those.
You shouldn't think about it.
You don't think about it.
Yeah, you
Think
might be right.
about it, you know?
Yeah, so I don't know. I just don't think it can be a profitable business model. I think they should. I would have liked more statistics in terms of their revenue.
I reckon on hats alone, they're going to blow away in the tornado.
Exactly.
You are spending a packet on hats.
I also felt that obviously they were sometimes playing it up for the cameras, but it would have been hard to maintain their level of tornado enthusiasm.
Sure.
There's a lot of hooting and hollering.
Absolutely.
It's not just when the cameras are on.
You're always hooting.
And I feel like just settle down a bit, all right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
right,
I know
right.
you're excited, but just take a breath.
But I mean, more realistically, what they should have done, they'd just be driving up to the location of the tornado in total silence. They'd be like, how's your day? You're pretty good. How's your kids? Yeah, they're good. Right. All right, you hit record. Okay, record. Backup's on camera. We're
Yeah.
streaming. Woo!
Exactly.
Like and subscribe. Woo! Let's
So
do
we
this.
do it.
And then cameras off, total silence leave. Go to Red Rooster.
That's right. I
Or
think,
Red Twister.
wow.
Whatever they have over there.
I think
they get a Twister combo,
that's
wouldn't
it,
they?
but that's a
KFC.
I don't like how they over-explain some of the science like multiple times because they're trying to get new data by triangulating the data by setting up 3 points.
I didn't
It's
feel,
like we got to put one, and then there's another part where they're like at the very start where they're explaining like how tornadoes work to each other, and it's like you all know how tornadoes work.
Yeah, but I didn't feel overwhelmed by the
Don't do
exposition.
that.
I
That's
thought it was
not how a
fine.
tornado works.
No,
This is how a tornado
I mean,
works.
I think to me it's probably like, I like all these characters, and they're
fine then, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah, it doesn't
Fine.
mind. That's fine.
What about this though?
Go on.
So it's bigger effects than the first one.
Yeah, right.
They've got wind machines galore. There's fire tornadoes and double tornadoes and things and places being thrown about.
Absolutely.
Did you feel it matched or maybe even surpassed that of the first one?
Yes.
I think there's more because you have to practical stuff in the first one.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which I think lends like a level of realism. There's a few like sweeping shots of like total destruction, which kind of like, well, they couldn't have done that entirely, and it made me go, well, they CGI this. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily, but what I liked about the first one is like you had to just wreck a bunch of real stuff, but not for all of it because there's a bunch of effects in that.
And sometimes just teeny weeny stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, I think on the most part it's a fairly like convincing and
I was never
enthralling.
unconvinced.
No, you're never like this looks like shit. And there are some like ropey effects in the first one because it's nearly 30 years old. And now there's some more like pseudoscience as well.
Okay, right.
The focus on this is, what was it? It's how to stop a tornado potentially.
Yeah, so our main character, Daisy Edgar Jones, whose character
Yep.
name I will not recall.
Yeah.
She has always had this idea that if some sort of polymer compound, some sort of pseudoscience polymer compound, and you put it on the back of a truck, a bunch of drums of this stuff, and it gets sucked up into the tornado, and they're looking for a way to break up tornadoes and shut them down before they cause too much havoc, kind of thing. And you didn't buy it?
No, it's not that I didn't buy it. It was fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It was fine, Mason. I mean, if we're talking bullshit pseudoscience or whatever, and maybe there are some elements of truth to it, maybe Superman could have just used his X-ray vision and stopped them all, because that makes about as much sense, Mason. Unless there's some kind of logic behind this that I'm not familiar with, because this is 100% not my area.
You are not a scientist.
I didn't look into it.
You have a business degree.
I agree.
And teaching.
I agree. Also, Glenn Powell has there's a literal trolley car problem happens to him.
Oh, right, that's right.
Well, him and some others.
Yeah.
But it's not literal in the sense that there's two choices to be made, Mason. I just mean he gets smushed by a trolley car at one point for a bit.
That's true, he does.
Should we do some spoilers?
Yeah, I think so. I think best movie ever.
I agree.
This is a good.
I think it's going to do well.
This is a good summer flick that we saw in winter.
Yeah.
Bit of fun.
Yep.
Good characters. It's not gonna blow you away in terms of a big twist or anything like that. It's fairly. It is a little like we talked about Axel F last week. It's not gonna. It is pretty by the numbers, but I think it's very charming.
Yeah.
And the action sequences are good and tense.
It's probably not as funny as the first one, maybe.
You're right. It's not. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know whether that's true.
Yeah. Do we have we don't have a funny, like, we had Philip Seymour Hoffman in the first one. We don't have a wacky dude really in this one.
Not as much, no.
But I liked the cruise.
Yeah. I'm going to say best movie ever also. Some spoilers.
Okay.
So the Snobs group are
Yeah.
actually working for a big corporate
They're working for Big Boss Hog.
businessman. And I think I would have loved at the end because he was buying up all the land, which was wrecked by tornadoes.
Yeah, that's right. So they're the Anthony Ramos's character. He needed funding to get his big shiny white corporate storm chasing company off the ground, and so he's partnered up with this land developer. So they go and they get the data from the storms, and they pass it all along to this guy, and he goes to the people who've had their land and homes destroyed, and he says, "I'll give you quick cash now," kind of thing.
But why does he need the data? Is it so he can determine where to
strike next? Probably, maybe something like that. Yeah,
and be like, "Oh, I'll get land here or whatever."
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I wish at the end, like he got his comeuppance and then he threw his hat on the ground and stomped on it.
Yeah.
But we did get David Corin Sweat getting covered in mud.
We did.
And
We
it's
sure did,
nearly
yeah.
as good, I think. He should have just used his X-ray vision, and
Yeah.
that wouldn't have happened, don't you think?
There is a line in this movie that's just struck me again.
Is this the moment you were talking about earlier? Where
Yes, it was. No, this is a different one.
Oh.
There's a moment where Anthony Ramos says, "This theater wasn't built for what's coming," and it's like, you're not going to put that in the trailer? You're seriously not going to put that in the trailer? Like, this theater's going to explode.
Maybe-
Because
and-
they're in a movie theater
Yeah.
and the Twister
And you
is
could
coming.
show like the theater screen fall down and then the twister is
Yeah.
happening. You can do that in the theater because that's what happens in the movie.
Maybe they're saving it for, sometimes they'll do the trailer with the critics are raving about Twister or
Yeah, you
whatever.
might be right,
They'll
yeah.
put it in that and you'll be like, this
they've
theater's
got that
gonna-
in the chamber ready
This
to
theater's
go.
going to explode and everyone's going to die.
We're all gonna
Everyone in the cinema's going to die. Like you and you and you. You're going to die. You're going to die.
Oh no, that's bad.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're killed by a Twister.
Oh no, that's bad. Something I think would have been funny because Daisy Edgar Jones's character, whose name we don't know.
Yep.
Her boyfriend at the start gets sucked up
It's
by
Kate.
a twister. It's Kate. Yeah, she's finding struggle. There's struggle in loving again and getting back into the twister game.
Yep.
And finally, Glenn Powell, who's actually a good guy.
That's right.
'cause he's doing charity and not just
yeah.
YouTube, which people
I'm
can
bleeding
do.
money out of this company. I'm giving people free water and stuff.
But I'm slick. I thought it would have been really funny that there's a moment where he kind of encourages her to get back into science and love tornadoes again, and they run into the field and they're like, woo, we love tornadoes, and she's like, I love weather, and it's like there's a song going that's like, it's a rock and roll country time, we're all loving, and then I would have loved it if he was just like sucked up by a tornado just in the middle of it, just gone.
Yeah. Look, if they still made like Zucker Brothers
Yeah.
parody movies this year, that exact thing would happen. There'd be a Twisters moment.
And I'd love it.
She'd be sucked off into the sky.
And I'd love it.
You'd love it.
Yeah.
I think you'd be like, this movie was made for me.
Yeah.
I'm the target audience for Zucker Brothers parody movies, you would say.
Paul Shear's did it as well.
He is, very briefly, yeah.
Does he? I wondered. He probably has. Would he have talked about the first one in How Did This Get Made?
I bet he
assume?
has. I bet he has.
Let me check.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have actually.
Yeah.
Anyway.
At the end of the movie, at the very end of the movie, Kate realizes there was a flaw in her chemical mixture that was to do to destroy the tornadoes, the one in the past, and she's mixed up a new batch of the good stuff, the
Tornado
new
goo.
anti-tornado goop, and she's like, and everybody's in the theater that's going to be destroyed because of how powerful the movie Twisters is.
Oh, it's so powerful.
And everybody's cowering in there and they're doing their best to keep people indoors and what have you. And she's like, I'm going to get in the truck and I'm going to drive to the Twister. And then all the goop gets sucked up. And just in the last instance before, some of the Slobs crew are going to get blown away by the Twister. It unspins itself and it's gone. And then at the end of the movie, Anthony Ramos is dropping off Daisy Edgar Jones's character at the airport and he's like, now some people are going to say that this was something else. Some people are going to say maybe it was the fire at the refinery or
You didn't do it.
You didn't do it, or it just
And that you're a loser.
it just the
you were
tornado
scared.
the tornado just cut out by
Yeah,
itself.
you ran into you drove out into a tornado for no reason.
for no reason, for pseudo quack science,
Yeah.
quite frankly. You drove your truck into a Twister for the Twister equivalent of being a chiropractor. That's what happened there. You cracked its back,
Yeah.
and it fixed its tin ear or whatever.
Absolutely. So do you think if there is a sequel to this, and I feel like
Sorry to all the chiropractors out there named Kate. Sorry, taking a shot at you. this
absolutely
week.
you are. So if there is a sequel to this and it's Twisters with two S's.
Yeah.
Or
but I was just
Twisters
gonna-
apostrophe.
Yeah, the reason I was going to say that is just because they can't leave this. They can't change the world in the movie so it's radically different from the real
Yeah,
world.
you can't-
So you can't just
yeah.
be like, well, now we've got a tank that you can just shoot a rocket into a tornado and
Yeah.
it'll dissipate. You can't change the world like that. So they're gonna have, if they do another Twisters, they're either gonna have to become tornado destroyers,
Yeah.
driving around and what have you, or they're gonna have to be like, well, actually, the world's run out of that chemical.
Yeah.
So you can't do that anymore.
Or it doesn't work because of too much global warming.
Too
now.
much global warming. Perfect.
Happened too much.
It's hit peak global warming
Yeah.
something.
Let's talk about sequels. There's a moment at the start when they're in New York City.
Oh, New York
the
City,
biggest
baby.
apple. And there's a woman explaining to kids that like, there's never been a Twister in New York City. And I'm like, if that's not in this movie, I feel like there's going to be like
right.
Twisters take Manhattan.
Twisters take Manhattan.
I'm like, we
that's
got to
right.
rig the Statue of Liberty to punch a tornado out of the air or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
think that would be, I mean, not the logical step, but is that where you go for the next one? You take it into the big city?
You'd have to.
Yeah.
I think this one,
Like a Quiet Place day one?
yeah, I think this one was predominantly, it's the legacy sequel, it's the reboot, so you need to go, okay, well, we're doing it rural style.
Yeah, yeah.
and then you got to up the ante for the sequel. So absolutely New York City, baby.
Yeah. All right. And we'll probably see that in the next amount of time.
There's tornadoes happening everywhere. Look, there's one happening at the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
When
The Opera House is there.
when do you think we're going to get
Yay, they stopped it. We're on the Sydney Opera House.
we love that.
Whee.
When do you think we're going to get Glenn Powell, like people are going to get sick of him?
Oh, great
Because
question.
this always happens. People are like, I'm sick of seeing this prick. I'm sick of his face.
I'm going to check and see what
What's
his upcoming
coming
projects.
Yeah, man.
See what they say. I mean, he was in a bunch of stuff that people didn't see, like Devotion.
It was in Hitman. Apparently he's in The Dark Knight Rises. Is that
Okay.
true?
He's got one more movie. No, he's a producer on The Blue Angels, which I assume is about the stunt team, the flying stunt team.
That's not a
That's a documentary,
Yeah.
right? Twisters, and he's going to be in a movie called Huntington, which is currently filming. So I think it'll be a while. I don't think he's going to... He doesn't strike me as somebody who's going to,
yeah. He's just done a lot of movies of late. Well, Top Gun and then other things. But yeah, I guess he's more kind of you just see him around a lot, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. He's had a good run thus far, but but also I kind of feel like he, but again, like movie star charisma doesn't, he's got it, I think, but it doesn't wear out as much as like a character actor appearance or like just a guy,
Yeah.
But also not everybody's seeing anyone but you, and also Hitman, and also Twisters. Most people are probably seeing
That's a good
one
point.
or the other.
That's
you know
a really
what I mean?
good point.
You know,
Anyways, check it out.
check it out.
Check it out. Should we move to the next segment of the show?
Let's move to the next.
Well, what
segment
is
of the show.
it?
It's what we're reading.
Yep.
What are we going to read?
All right then. I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? All right, I read a comic, Mason. We did it for Book Club. It's coming up next week.
Tell me about it.
It's called Aliens Labyrinth.
Oh, yes.
It's one of the best, or is it Alien Labyrinth or
Aliens Labyrinth.
Okay, cool, thank God. Then we said it right in the recording of that.
That's right.
Basically, because there's a new Alien movie coming out, we looked at one of the best Alien comics and just talked about the kind of the comics in general.
Yeah.
This wasn't supposed to be an ad, but it's just a comic that I liked reading. I think people should read if you are interested in the Alien universe. It's not your standard... It's the movie Aliens.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's in a comic.
Which is the fallback position, isn't it, for a lot of those comics? I said on the episode when we recorded it that the Dark Horse era of Aliens.
You said
comics,
I did a good job.
I did.
Yeah.
Actually. You did do a good job.
Thanks, man.
I think the Dark Horse era of Aliens comics, like that mid-90s era, tremendous.
Yeah.
Because there's no real rules they have to follow. Just tell her.
But it all works.
Yeah, it does
for the
all work.
most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
You reading another thing? Is that the only thing?
I watched a comedy special on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Laura Davis, comedian.
Yeah, I like Laura Davis. Cool. I'm going to check this out.
Very good comedian. I saw her special, If This Is It, during the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
Yes.
And there is a recorded version. It's on YouTube. Just
Is that
search for
the
her
new
name.
one she did this year?
Yes, it is,
Because I
yes.
also saw that and it was delightful. And now that's available.
When you say delightful, I mean, it is about like the ills of capitalism and
Yeah,
the world ending and stuff. But it's fun.
But it's good.
Yeah, it is good, right?
I liked it a lot. It was
Yeah, yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
good. And I got to meet her with Claire very briefly before the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is great.
It is great. Here's part of the review. This is from the live show. This is the Chortle review. If This Is It is a primal, defiant, guttural howl about the toxicity of capitalism, the monetization of rage and fear, misogyny, culture wars, the perils of undervaluing art, the destruction of the climate, the creeping onset of a neo-fascist state, and so much more.
That doesn't make it sound like it's very fun.
I'm going to skip a bit, and then it says it's also very funny.
Yes.
So If
Okay,
This
thank
Is
God.
It is what it's called.
Yeah. Cool. All right, check that out. Also, next week we're probably going to do both The Acolyte and The Boys, which are wrapping up.
they're wrapping up.
I think they're both wrapping up this week. I might be wrong about that, but I think that's right.
Now,
Mason.
and you said they're wrapping up with a crossover, right? The boys are going to beat up the Acolyte, right?
Thank God. So
Okay.
that's going to be episode 8 of The Boys is on July 18th.
Okay, well, I'm up to date on the boys. I'm not up to date on the Acolyte, so
Yeah.
I'll speed run that.
Yeah, hang on, I'm just checking. I think The Acolyte has one episode left also. Yeah, on July 16th. So
Right.
yeah, there we go. That's our episode next week covered. Thank God, Mason.
Thank God.
We don't have to spend money at the cinemas because we've got these free apps that we put on our television.
I love a free
and
app.
they dispense content to us.
YouTube's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We say this every year. I think every year at the end of the year we do our famous awards that mean nothing, and we always say best streaming service, and it's almost always YouTube.
Absolutely.
'Cause it's just got niche video essays
Loons.
and old computer games.
Loons, Mason.
It's got loons who make videos about Loom.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
a
right.
video game that I played once in the 90s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Should we move it along?
Let's move it along to letters.
Yeah, man.
The classic one was letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away. We're going to here right now. We're going to do letters.
If you do want to reach the show, hashtag Weekly Planet Pod on Twitter or weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com, and coming up on the outside, we've got blah, 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 blah,
No.
blah, 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 blah.
Oh, no. He's got racetrack announcer disease.
Blah, blah, blah,
I knew
blah,
it.
blah, blah, blah. Studying sunshine, blah, 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 blah. Look at the barn, blah, blah, blah. What else do they say, Mason?
That's what they say.
This is coming up on the outside.
There's always someone coming up on the outside, you know? I think that's beautiful.
Anyway, do you got any-
Sometimes they say, okay, a horse has fallen over and they've had to shoot it. Sometimes they say that.
Oh, no,
When I
horse
say
has
sometimes, I mean every year at the Melbourne
Oh,
Cup.
no, horse has fallen over, they have to shoot it.
On the outside,
It's coming up on the outside into heaven or horse hell, depending.
definitely horse hell.
Horse racing
This-
sucks, Mason.
This is an email from Jesus.
Yeah.
Hi, James and Maso. Jesse here. Oh, interesting.
Hey, must be nice.
I've been a fan of the Weekly Planet since I saw James's Winter Soldier review,
Oh, wow, was it 10 years ago?
which
yeah.
you said it was the worst movie ever because he wasn't wearing a scarf.
Yeah, and then
It wasn't wintry enough.
And then my YouTube channel got deleted because of that video.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, I remember.
Jesse says, I've always wanted to travel to catch one of your guys' live shows, and once James announced the London show, and it gave me enough time to take that time off from work, I quickly got plane tickets and a hotel room. I'm
Oh,
coming from
no.
California.
Oh, no.
That is 5,364.21 miles, or 8,632.87 kilometers. Does that make me the most traveled listener? If I can also ask for a shout out from a great mate of mine, Emily is a fantastic person, a huge fan of both of you, and hearing you guys give her a shout out would mean so much here.
Shout out
Listen,
to
thank
Emily
you.
then. But thank you so. Oh, God, that's a lot of pressure that you just put on me.
I know, right?
Yeah. If you haven't done that yet, don't do it. I don't encourage it.
Oh, you mean other people?
No, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, Mason. I appreciate
What
it.
a trip. But
Yeah.
I mean, to some degree, James, you're also going overseas.
I'm going even further than him.
because you just wanted to go overseas.
Well, that's
right?
that's part of it. Yeah,
so
yeah.
that is part of
definitely
it. So like,
yeah.
I imagine Jesse here is just like, I'm taking a trip to go to London.
Yeah.
See the London Eye.
I hope you do
Go
see
to
the
the
London
O2
Eye.
Arena. See U2 at the O2
U2.
Arena.
Woo!
Exactly.
Yeah, good point. Well, anyway, looking forward to seeing you in the crowd.
Yeah.
I'll know.
Yep.
You'll,
You'll be exhausted.
you'll have big American energy.
You'll have a neck pillow on.
Yeah, that's
because you've been
right.
flying a long time.
This is more of a PSA, Mason. This is from Big Money PT. He said the time codes in the Weekly Planet pod on Spotify at least are wrong. I got spoiled what we're going to read section, sad face. So this happens every now and then. On different platforms, they run different ads
Yeah.
that I don't, and Collins, who edits this, control. Like Spotify in particular, they run ads that have nothing to do with us and we don't get paid for. We
Yeah.
don't know when they're going to
We don't know when they,
or what they are.
They go dung dung, and then they just an
Yeah.
ad appears, and then sometimes it's like 3 ads in a row.
Yep. Nothing
And
to
plus,
do with
sometimes
us.
there's Acast ads for
There's
our
that as well, yeah.
platforming.
But even
yeah.
those, we can't cater to those because...
Sometimes it's like, you should invest in copper. And
Yeah.
I'm like, should, all right.
All right, cool, I will.
Where's the link? I
Yeah.
got to click on this link.
So that is, I mean, even with the Acast ones, they don't go,
Yeah.
which is the ones we either record or they put in.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know specifically even which podcast it's going to go into because
Yeah.
they dynamically insert them, and I
Yeah.
know that's annoying. So I think and Collins answered this, but I thought he's told out to everybody. You probably want to skip a couple minutes ahead
Yeah.
of any spoilers. I know it's a pain in the ass. YouTube's probably safest with like an ad blocker.
Oh, that's true,
Or if
yeah.
you've got YouTube Premium,
Yes.
which you're more than welcome to do, or bigsandwich.co.
Oh, yeah.
Or Big Sandwich is all
That's
that
ad free, isn't it? Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
right.
just so people
Very
know.
convenient.
Yeah.
Very convenient.
What about you, Mason?
Here's an email from Cameron. He's listed from Glasgow in Scotland.
Glasgow.
Just wanted to say I love all the content you provide. I'm a fairly recent bigsandwich.co subscriber, and I could not be happy with all the extra content I have to listen to and watch. Cameron's real, by the way.
do you
Unless
mean?
you've emailed this in.
I didn't say he wasn't
Okay.
real.
All right, great.
Is he not real?
No, but I'm just saying it sounds like an ad.
Oh,
It
okay.
sounds like
Yeah,
an
yeah,
ad.
yeah.
You know, but I haven't done this, and you haven't done this.
I didn't do it.
Maybe Collins did it? Did he make up a guy?
Yeah, let's ask him.
Okay. I was wondering if you'd ever cover big...
We'll ask him now because he can hear this.
Oh, yeah.
Collins, did you do this?
Did you do it? 1 beep for yes, 2 beeps for no.
That's good.
I was wondering if you'd ever cover Big Trouble in Little China on Caravan of Garbage or the Escape from New York comic crossover for the Big Sandwich Classic Comic Book Club, because there's an Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China
Did
crossover.
not know that.
Yeah. It
I
came out a
haven't
couple of years ago.
ever seen Big Trouble in Little China, so I'll start with that. And then,
Yeah. Now, for some people also wonder about this as a generality.
Yeah.
We usually do, like if there was a new big Kurt Russell movie coming
Yes.
out, we would absolutely cover Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we should have with
When he does Tombstone too.
when he does Tombstone too. Yeah,
Yeah, two tombstones.
Tombstone. Tombstones.
Yeah.
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 Or maybe we should have done it when they released the MonsterVerse TV series,
A-Bay.
but it's too late.
Maybe we'll just do like 80s fun ones. You know?
Do some 80s fun ones.
80s fun ones at some point.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we some weeks we just do whatever is fun
Yeah.
and a thing we thought of, but a lot of the time it is in
Algorithm.
the lead up to something.
Yeah.
We're covering the
Well,
alien
not
movies
so much
in
an
the next few
algorithm.
weeks.
No, it is an algorithm, but it's also like, I'd love to revisit all the Wolverine movies or after
Yeah.
we're doing all the alien
If
movies.
Alien Romulus is coming up, so it'd be nice to get a grounding in.
Yeah.
But usually, and especially if it's like a blockbuster or a legacy sequel or something in a franchise
Mm.
or what have you, it's often we often lament like, there was a scene in this movie. I wonder if it was a reference to the old movie. We didn't have a chance to watch it, so it's just
Absolutely.
good to,
It's good too.
it's good to. I mean, maybe if that The Rock, Big Trouble in Little China movie ever gets off the
then
ground,
we'll definitely do
then
it
we'll
then, I
definitely
guess.
cover
Yeah.
it then. Yeah.
I have a tweet with a similar kind of aesthetic, let's say, Mason.
Oh, yes.
From Pogo Soho says, #WeeklyPlanetPod. Do Hot Rod for Caravan of Garbage, please. It's a really good movie. Cheers and good day.
Oh, we could do all the Lonely Island
Yeah,
movies.
but we generally don't do comedies because
We can't be funnier than
we
the
can't be
comedies.
funnier than that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we did that Fast and Furious like knockoff,
Yeah.
but that was more like this is bad and
Yeah, we feel bad about that.
Yeah.
I do anyway.
I don't love
Making fun of.
no, and I
We
don't,
love making fun
yeah.
of.
Comedies are hard to talk about, also kind of.
I
don't know
agree,
what it
because
is
we can only go,
specifically.
this is funny.
Yeah,
This is funny. We like the scene where this happened and it was funny.
that's right. Yeah. I got another letter.
I got one
Mason.
more email here. This is from Nathan.
Nathan.
Hey, gents, I just listened to the latest pod where Maso mentioned watching Prisoners. I watched Prisoners.
Good
It's great.
movie?
Yeah, it's great.
Do you want to talk
I
about
mentioned-
it more next week, maybe? And what we reading?
Yeah, but I mean, I mentioned I mentioned last week that I said I was going to
you
watch.
hadn't watched it. And
Okay, well,
you
now I have watched it.
Yeah,
so.
and it was great.
And we're past the what we're reading segment.
I'm not
so
saying you can save it for next week. if
save
you
it for
wanted to.
next week. I could.
I'd love to
couldn't
hear your thoughts on
I?
Prisoners.
My goodness. And wanted to get your thoughts on what Denis Villeneuve should tackle next. Do you think he should stick to sci-fi or go back to his roots with a small-scale thriller? And also, can I be the official nuclear training expert of the podcast? Yes.
What are you, Homer Bloody Simpson?
Yeah, what are you, Homer Simpson? What are you, any of the
Ooh.
characters in the TV series Chernobyl?
Ooh.
Yeah.
They all died, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the question? Sci-fi or another thing.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever he wants
Okay,
to do.
all right.
Yes, smaller story, why not? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, Prisoners, you watched recently, is incredible. It looks as if the next thing he's going to do is Dune 3. It
Yes.
seems that way.
Well, look, as someone who's very easily swayed by the last thing you watched, I
Yeah.
reckon another small things like Prisoners 2.
Okay.
You know?
Two
prisoners.
Two
prisoners.
is probably a better way to put
Two
it.
Prisoners 2?
Yeah, two
Yep.
prisoners too.
I think so.
Is that the show?
That is the whole show, folks.
my
Thank
God.
you so much for listening. We absolutely appreciate it. Thank you for telling your friends about the podcast because that is how we get new listeners.
It's
Thank
true.
you for leaving a 5-star review on your podcast catcher of choice.
That's right.
And if you do that, James will read one out on the podcast.
I'm going to do these two right now. This
Go
one's
ahead.
from Nifty Kiwi, who says, "Get a dog up here. Good stuff. Great podcast to listen to while crashing your car or while not crashing your car."
So true.
It's versatile.
That encompasses the entire human experience, except for people who don't have cars.
That's true. It's from Blaze1249, who says, "Best knitting podcast ever. Looking for the best podcast about knitting by two Nigerian grannies. This one is for you. Only thing better than their needlepoint is their opinions of the blockbuster movie Snake Eyes."
That makes no sense, but
What are
it's
you
5
saying?
stars,
Yeah, we
so
don't
we'll
care.
take it. We'll take it. It doesn't even
It's
matter.
great work, actually.
You can say nonsense.
It's
any
great
kind of
work.
nonsense.
It's great work.
You can get James to say nonsense.
Yep, it's great work.
That's the joy of leaving a 5-star
It's
review.
great work.
It's great work. Folks, if you want to contact the show, you go to Weekly Planet Pod at
Yeah.
gmail.com. You go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet podcast subreddit and Discord. Fun civil chats about
Oh,
podcasts
yeah.
and pop culture. Thank you to Fidel and Maisie and Sarabi for moderating those forums and doing the TikToks and the Weekly Planet Clips channel and all sorts of
incredible.
stuff. If you want to follow some people on the socials, follow our friend Rob Collins, who edits this podcast.
Yeah.
He's at Rob Collins on Twitter. He's at The Weekly Planet on Twitter. He'll keep you up to date on all things The Weekly Planet and put in little clips and all sorts of fun stuff. It's fun stuff, little bite-sized portions of The Weekly Planet
Exactly.
and Caravan of Garbage and all sorts of
Oh
stuff.
my God, it's all there.
Let
Some
me
of
tell
it's
you.
there.
Let me tell you this, James. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. Chuck in a buck or an amount you would not miss, or you can go to
Bling.
bigsandwich.co. $9 per month. Bonus podcast, movie commentaries, early videos, video game, let's plays, man, so much more. Good stuff. We got t-shirts at TeePublic. You go to teepublic.com. You search for The Weekly Planet. You got a t-shirt. It's great.
Yes, that's
Good
right.
stuff. Thank you to The Brute and The Basilisk and Arachne for all our musical themes. And next week, the thing you said. There's something. And then
The Boys and the Acolyte.
then it's Deadpool and Wolverine after
Yes,
that.
that's right. Ooh. Let's see what happens there, I reckon.
Ooh, we're going to find out, aren't we? We're going
gonna
to
be
find
the-
out if it's a good movie or not a good movie or a fine movie. or it's just
that's
a movie.
the movie we started this podcast for, wasn't it?
Nope.
That was Batman Superman.
Bad movie, Superman.
Do you reckon it's going to be better or worse than Batman Superman?
Better.
Wow.
Yeah, better.
You heard it here first.
I'm staking that
Mason's
claim.
opinion. You heard it here first.
That's right.
The specific thing that he thinks.
I finally said an opinion. I finally mustered up the balls.
God.
The true courage to say a thing. And I think the movie will be better than a notoriously bad movie. That's the whole show.
It's our show.
And grab
Thank
that gem,
so
you
much for
guys.
listening.
See you next week.
Bye.